The Discovery is no longer a science vessel. It's a warship.
That is not the mission I signed on for. I'm not a soldier.
Well, then get off.
Hey guys, Chastity and Greg here, and we're back to break down Star Trek Discovery Episode 4.
But first, make sure to subscribe to GameSpot Universe so you don't miss out on any of our other TV coverage. We're covering this show, including American Horror Story, Rick and Morty, and much more.
First, a quick recap. Burnham begins to settle into her new science position aboard the USS Discovery. Saru makes nice with Burnham, but it only lasts for one scene.
You have not changed an iota, Burnham.
Captain Lorca has a collection of the deadliest weapons in the galaxy. Turns out the beast from last week's episode is a tardigrade on steroids, and Lorca wants to use it as a weapon.
What's a hide made of that can withstand the firepower of a phaser set to kill? I need you to find out. And weaponize it.
Meanwhile, on T'Kuvma's ghost ship, his followers are dying of hunger. Vok and L'Rell take the dilithium processing unit from the Shenzhou, and definitely share a moment. Cole commandeers T'Kuvma's ship and leaves Vok on the Shenzhou to die. And finally, we see the spore drive put to use.
Okay, so let's jump right into this episode. The title was called "The Butcher's Knife Cares Not for the Lamb's Cry."
It's a mouthful, but it's also the second longest title in Star Trek history. The first being from the original series, which is titled "For the World is Hollow and I Have Touched the Sky." Is that a Kanye song?
Actually, it is. The episode picks up right where we left off, with the beast from the USS Glenn still locked up in Captain Lorca's menagerie. As Starfleet continues their effort to end the war with the Klingons, Burnham begins to work with Commander Landry on turning the beast into a weapon.
Let's call it Ripper. It's what it looks like. It's what it does.
And Ripper is a tardigrade, an actual water-dwelling micro-animal on Earth.
Yeah, I just kept screaming "Cosmos" right when I saw it on screen, like half of America.
Yelling "Cosmos" in general.
Oh, Carl Sagan and Neil deGrasse Tyson.
So why didn't I flinch? Because the laws of science differ fundamentally from those of...
Tardigrades are one of the most resilient animals known, and like Ripper, can survive extreme conditions and temperatures, including mass extinction events. Most are plant eaters or bacteria eaters. Ripper loves snacking on spores.
Poor guy. All right, a few things that we noticed right off the bat. They get right into Korriban 2. They mentioned that.
That's where they got the distress signal from.
Korriban 2 is the planet mentioned in the TNG episode New Ground. It's the homeworld to the Korriban civilization and the rare Korriban Gilvos. We've learned from this episode that Korriban 2 generates 40% of the Federation's dilithium.
Next that we should point out, Vok ate Captain Georgiou.
Yeah, not just the heart, which is established already in Klingon lore that they eat the heart. They've brought this up many times in the past, but never full-on cannibalism to a point where they just eat everything, even though I have a feeling this is probably because, well, they were starving.
Speaking of the Klingons, L'Rell's mother is from the House of Mokai, which was also mentioned in the Voyager episode The Killing Game, which featured a holo program where Janeway was a Klingon warrior from the House of Mokai.
You are resilient prey!
I'm no one's prey!
Okay, so then Lorca name drops 3 innovators through history. You get the Wright brothers, Elon Musk, and Zefram Cochrane.
Zefram Cochrane, as established in Star Trek First Contact, is the first human to create a warp drive system.
Quick side note, we're introduced to Medical Officer Culber after Stamets smashes his head into the console.
Ouch.
Yeah, and he tells him at one point,
Hold still, or you'll wind up looking like a Tellarite.
now this is a Tellurite.
You people are even uglier than I remember.
Yeah, so don't move, buddy. Side note to the side note, this is also the first scene with Culber and Stamets together, and they're actually partners on the show. So we'd like to see a lot more character development, please.
Give us some. Give us
More
anything.
scenes. Okay, so let's jump into our favorite moments this week. What's yours?
Oh, it's gotta be the spore drive. Just again, the visuals, stunning.
Let's send our Klingon friends a message they won't forget. And... go.
Mine was Michael's tender moment with Ripper. Just sitting there, feeding him spores. He just wants to be left alone and eat his yummy
Petting it.
spores. Yeah, and he just like reaches out with some kind of feelers, don't know what's going on there, but he was showing affection.
I think it licked her or something.
Probably. Who knows what's going on there?
And then one last thing I really liked was the mirrored image shot we got at the end with Volk, where he's on the Shenzhou, which is destroyed at this point. It kind of resembles the episode 1 where the camera pushes in.
Ah. All right, so who do you think won the episode?
Cole.
Okay.
I mean, seriously, he commandeered the damn ship just with food. Now, side note, this may be the moment where House Core takes over. While Volk may have a few tricks up his sleeve, I'm not confident that he gets his crew and ship back. Now, we know that Cole is pretty successful in the future, due to the character Core from the original series and Deep Space Nine. Cole is a descendant from the House Core, so one can assume that he keeps the name in good hands.
Yeah, I love that he just took over T'Kuvma's ship by catering a buffet.
Craft services are all around, everybody.
I'd go for that. I also think that Michael won this episode. She figured out that the tardigrade was naturally peaceful, had a connection to the spores, and was needed for the warp drive. She's proving herself to the crew and is slowly on her way to redemption. Also with the tardigrade, she taught a good lesson on not judging a book by its cover.
Commander, this creature is an unknown alien. It can only be what it is, and not what you want it to be.
Yeah, R.A.P. Landry, we barely knew ye. With such little character development, I don't even know what your interests are. But...
Yeah. Tasha Yar, but even Tasha Yar lasted more episodes than she did. Nothing, no character development whatsoever. But let's move on. I want to talk about the tardigrades real quick.
Okay.
The whole tardigrade plot was a mess for me. The spore drive is pretty absurd, and we can see why this isn't mentioned at all in future series. Torturing a poor animal for warp speeds is probably not a good look for the Federation. Yeah, so I'm gonna bang that Section 31 drum a little bit more here. I think the Federation is just gonna wipe all this under the rug. We're not gonna know anything about this crew at the end of the series.
Absolutely.
And one last thing on L'Rell and the Klingons itself, the very end, that last scene we got. The look of them, again, it's tough. It's getting rougher and rougher because they emote nothing with all that makeup on.
Just the eyes. Like, the only way you can tell that they were kind of having some emotions toward each other was just like they were giving each other the eyes, but like their faces were completely still. Tell us what you guys think about the Klingons in the comments below, and we'll see you next week for the breakdown on Star Trek Discovery Episode 5.
Bye-bye.
Warning, Klingon tractor beam engaged. Captain Lorca was captured.
We will find him.
Where are we?
A Klingon prison vessel.
Prepare to jump.
I don't know how much more the creature can sustain.
I gave you an order.
You seek glory. But glory must be earned through sacrifice.
Stick with me. I'm a survivor, just like you.